If you're new to watercolors and you're intimidated to start, we're gonna do an exercise together that's super low pressure, easy to do, and turns out really cute. Grab your watercolors and give them a good spritz. Before we start painting, I wanna do a little preparation. We're gonna mix up two different colors. One we're gonna make red and the other is gonna be green. The way that we make these mixtures is we put some water in those wells and then we just continually swirl our brush around in the color we want to add to that well, mix it in, repeat, swirl, mix it in. Keep doing that until it's the color that you want. Then I'm going to repeat that same process with some green. I want you to take that lovely red color that you mixed and we're going to make a messy triangle. At the very bottom of it, I want you to wash your brush, tap it off a bit just to make sure that it's actually clean, and then we're going to swipe down to give it a very light gradient. And we're going to wash our brush again, and then I want you to dip into that green color, and we're going to keep a gap between where we soften down, and we're going to make a little smiley face underneath that triangle. Once you add that stripe of green, then we're going to wash our brush again, making sure we have just fresh, clean water in our brush, and we're going to swipe up into that area that we swiped down from on the red. And then I want to bump up the color on the very edge of the rind, so I'm going to actually dip straight into the pan of my green, and I'm going to reline the bottom part of that. And if you want to get a little extra fancy with it, you can dip into something like a darker green or this teal type color. And then we're going to drop that sporadically along the bottom edge of the rind. Now we're going to repeat that same basic process, but instead of doing a triangular shape, you could keep this all triangles if that makes you feel more comfortable, but I like to have some variation. So I'm going to do this instead in kind of an oblong shape. And when I'm painting really simple spreads like this, I find that it looks way cuter when I fill up the entire page with scattered pieces of the fruit or whatever I'm painting. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to fill up the entire page and let some of them go off of the page. I think it already looks really cute, and if you're into seedless watermelon, guess what? You're done. However, even though I personally enjoy watermelon without the seeds, it doesn't ever feel complete as a painting until I've added them. And in order to layer some seeds on top, we need to make sure that this is completely dry. So you can either go do something else and let it dry, or you can make it dry. And then once it's dry, I want you to grab a scrap of paper. We're going to fill our brush with some water, tap it off a bit, and then we're going to grab some black, scribble it around to make sure that we have really concentrated black in our brush. And then you could try to paint in the really specific seed shapes, or if you want to do a little cheat, all you need to do is take the tip of your brush, set it down, and then lightly push onto the belly. And it's going to make the watermelon seed shapes for you. After you've practiced, add a little more black to your brush, and then you're just going to tap onto each of these slices, adding the seeds where you think they go. If you're a beginner that's been a little too afraid to try, I really recommend you try this one. It always cheers me up when I paint watermelons. And now I'm going to go eat some watermelon because I've got one upstairs calling my name.